Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Coral and I'm 5.5 months sober. I started this channel as a way to help keep me sober, hopefully, but also to help other people on their sober journey. If you're interested in sharing your story on here, then you can get in touch via my email, which is below the video description, or in the video description. Below the video in the description. Is that clear? Also, if you're interested in van life, I live in a van full-time, camper van, then you can check out my other channel. That'll be linked below as well. So that's about my van life, day-to-day van life, basically. Living in a camper van, full-time. So in today's episode, instead of me wittering on, I've got guests. My first interviewees. So Daryl and Keith, who've kindly agreed to come on and talk about their experience with alcohol. So Daryl was the active drinker and Keith is his partner who's helped him with on his sober journey. You might know them from their YouTube channel, Camper Van Tales. And if you're interested in van life and travel vlogs, then you can check them out. I'll put a link below the video. So without further ado, let's get on with the interview. So welcome Daryl and Keith, who is just in the kitchen.
Welcome, you've come to our place.
Don't throw me off. Blooming neck. So thank you both for agreeing to do this, sharing your experiences with alcohol.
That's all right.
So we'll get right into it then. So how long have you been sober?
I'm looking at Keith now because 10 years?
Yeah, probably.
More?
A good 10 years.
Yeah, it must be 10 years-ish, I would think.
That's a level of sobriety I can only dream about at this moment.
You'll get there.
I hope so.
You will.
I really hope so. I want this to be the last time that I go down this path. I want to get to be that person, like almost like somebody who's never drunk, who doesn't think about alcohol, who doesn't sit and say, oh yeah, I've been sober for 6 years, 4 months and da-da-da-da.
Yeah, I mean, that's like me.
That's what I'm just going to say. Have you reached that point?
Yeah, a long time ago, I think. Yeah. I seem to have been without alcohol now I've been with you 21 years. I've probably been without alcohol more than I was with you. No, that sounds right. I've been not drinking longer with you than before. That's what am I trying to say? I've not been drinking longer while I've been with Keith.
That's not helping.
No, is it? What am I saying, Keith?
We'll just stick to 10 years. We'll just
10 years or more. Probably
or more. Right,
yes.
Okay.
I like to confuse people.
Well, you're good at it.
I've had lots of practice.
So, there must be a freedom in not thinking about alcohol, because obviously when you've got an active addiction, your focus is the drug of choice, in this case alcohol. Yeah. You can be quite consumed by it. I know I have been.
Yeah, it was, I mean, there could be periods. I do look at Keith a lot when I'm talking. There could be periods where I could go for weeks and months, couldn't there? And then something would just upset me,
right,
or anger me, or my reaction then to Keith would be, well, I'm going to escape for a bit. And you knew exactly what I meant, didn't you? So
you use it as a reason to drink. Okay.
And it was a good reason to drink.
Yes, well, it always is.
And it could be something stupid. It could be something that angered me, or even at one point it got so bad that I could be watching. I know you've said in your videos about watching soaps and stuff. I could be watching a soap and see someone drinking and oh, I'm going to do that.
Yeah,
because they're having a drink.
Yeah. That's the thing about all the soaps are based around pubs, aren't they? It seems a lot of them are. What's all that about? So, did you consider yourself to be an alcoholic? And if so, would you see yourself as a recovered alcoholic now, or did you never sort of entertain that title, label, whatever you want to call it?
I don't think anyone sees themselves as an alcoholic until they get into that point where they think, I need help, and this is a problem. So no, I didn't at the time.
So how about now, if you look back? And is it even important?
No, I would say I was an alcoholic.
Okay.
And I don't know whether that's just me trying to block it out. No, because I don't block it out. I talk about it quite openly.
Well, yeah, you're here talking about it.
But I was an alcoholic, and I know that I never will be again.
Okay.
And I can say that
with the 100%.
100% sincerity. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. There's been a couple of times where something's upset me or angered me in the last couple of years, and I've actually thought I could do with a drink now. But the no, you don't in my head is so much stronger.
Yeah, than it was. Once. Yeah. So you replied to one of the comments on a video where somebody said that alcoholism is not a disease, it's a choice. And you said, no, it is a disease. Can you explain why you think that?
It's that line between some people saying no, it isn't, some people saying it's an illness, and some people saying it's a disease. I think it is a disease because it gets you and it digs in. An illness is copable most of the time. I mean, no matter what it is, a cancer, you get it into your head and you can cope with it. You know what's coming.
Right.
With alcohol, you don't know what's coming apart from the next drink. So to me, that's a disease.
Okay.
It's a mental disease, but it's a disease.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I agree that people have a choice about whether they pick a drink up in the first instance, but being able to stop doesn't feel like a choice.
That's not a choice, no.
No. I mean, I really struggle.
I mean, I'd be waking up in the morning and I'd be, where can I get a bit of money from to go to the shop, which was only 3 or 4 doors away, wasn't it? And no matter how many times Keith would go to him and say, don't serve him when he comes in, he still did.
Oh, it's money, innit?
Yeah.
So let's get into the nitty gritty then. At what point did you realise that you had a problem, and what sort of triggered that realisation, and what triggered the drinking in the first place?
What triggered the drinking in the first place was me not being true to myself, who I was. I wasn't ever a big drinker until I met my ex-wife, and her family were very much not big drinkers, but you'd go around for Sunday dinner and it was proper full Sunday dinner, and it'd be bottles of wine and whatever. And that's when I really thought, oh, this isn't bad. Before that, and I was 21 then. Before that, it was just the odd pint at the pub.
Yeah.
Whatever. But then my mum died. 3 months later, I got married. A year later, we had Jacob, my eldest. 15 months later, we had the twins.
Wow.
She was working nights.
Yeah.
I was working days. So I had the kids overnight, and then I was going into a stressful job, which was social work. And it all built up. And then I kept thinking, I like blokes more.
Right.
And I've never been true to myself. I've always been what other people expected me to be.
Right.
And it was just an escape. And then I'd be looking forward to her going to work and getting the kids to bed.
Yeah.
And having a bottle of wine that was hidden in the car. And then 1 bottle of wine wasn't enough. And it was 2 bottles of wine, and it was 3 bottles of wine. And she'd be ringing up to say the kid's in bed, and she realised something was wrong. And then one day she just said, I can't handle this anymore. I know you're drinking. I know that you've left the kids to go and get a bottle, which I had done.
Yeah.
But it took me a long time to admit that. So, and then she kicked me out, and I blamed myself, obviously, because the kids hadn't got the dad there.
Right.
And I was living in my car.
Right. How long did you do that for?
Probably 6 months. Because my dad didn't want me to live with him because he knew I got a problem and he couldn't handle it because he was a lot older. Right. My sister didn't want to know. My brother didn't want to know. So, and I'd already missing a lot of time at work then. So then I lost my job.
Right, okay. Yeah. So the drinking, so that hangovers not getting into work, or was it because you were living in a car? And
a bit of both. Mostly hangovers, to be honest. I was in such a state, and I was waking up and going getting another drink and thinking, oh, I'll get through the day at work. And then not.
Right.
So, yeah.
So was that your rock bottom, would you say? It got worse?
It got worse. It got a lot worse because I got a tap on the door one night in my car. I was sleeping in the back of my car, holding a bottle of vodka. in cradling a bottle of vodka, knock on the door from police, and got arrested.
Right.
And charged with being drunk in charge.
Okay.
So, yeah, all right, I got charged, I got told off, and, caution and all that.
So you didn't get any kind of fine or anything?
No, it was no court appearance or anything. It was just a caution and everything.
Yeah.
So 2 months later, I got a knock on the door. It was police.
Yes.
I got arrested again.
Yes.
And this time it was, this is your second offence for the same thing within 3 months. So it was court, and then it was imprisonment.
Wow.
So
that was your rock bottom?
was it? Probably not, was it? No.
Really?
No, probably not. No.
So how was prison? Because you would have had to detox in prison, I assume?
Yep. So, but I looked forward to going to prison.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Well, at least you'd have a bed to lie in. You'd at least...
it was more thinking, this might be an opportunity for me to stop drinking,
right.
and I'll get some help in there. But there was no help in there.
Really?
No. Yeah. So it was, you hear, I don't know whether it's changed, because that was 22 years ago.
Okay.
No, 21 years ago probably, because I met you after, I knew you anyway, didn't I? But we got together after that, didn't we? So there was no help in there. And they say life begins at 40. I was 2 days after my 40th birthday when I got sent to prison. So life did begin in a different way.
Yeah, not really what I would expect.
So, but from court, I was told I was going to Strangeways.
Right.
But it was too late to take me that night, so I ended up staying at Buxton Police Station overnight. The second day, they forgot me. So I was still at Buxton Police Station. The third day, the van broke down.
Right.
So they took me by car to Strangeways, so I ended up at night in Strangeways.
Right.
But then my solicitor said, "You've never done anything wrong before. You're a pillar of the community with your job and everything. We'll appeal it."
Yeah.
But I got an arsehole of a judge. He said, "No, you've done it twice. He can teach you a lesson." So I got 12 weeks.
Okay.
But because the appeal was in Derby, I didn't go back to Strangeways. I was sent to Nottingham.
Okay. Is that better than Strangeways then?
Well, it's a category B rather than a category A, so slightly better.
Okay, so it's Strangeways like serious criminals then? Is that, I don't really know much about.
Do you not?
No.
Oh, well, I drive past prisons now. I've been in that one. I've not done that one yet. But then Nottingham was okay, but I wasn't in there for long because you only do half your sentence anyway. So halfway through that halfway sentence, I got sent to an open prison.
Okay.
Which was in Boston, in Lincolnshire. Okay. And I arrived there at Easter. And it was, there's your key, because you're given a key.
Yeah.
If you're going to abscond, leave the key, because it's bloody expensive.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, and then after that, when I was released, I went back to my dad's and got in touch with you, didn't I? And he is nodding. And
also, when you were at North Sea, the open prison, you did actually do some work.
I did do some work there in the education because my job was teaching adults with learning disabilities.
Okay.
So they said, "Oh, you'd be quite handy. Can you come and work in the education department, helping people to
focus.
Read and write while you're in there, rather than getting in with all the people who are making their own drinks and drugs?"
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, a bit more constructive.
Yes. So, but then I was all right for a couple of months, and then I started drinking again because there was still a load of hassle with me seeing the kids and whatever. So she didn't want anything to do with me. She was poisoning the kids, even more so.
That's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah. So, and then we got together, and
I was travelling up and down because we know each other for a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where was I? So
travelling up and down.
Yeah, I mean, when Daryl was back in New Mills, I knew he was getting into bad states because he would give me a ring. I'd sort of keep an eye on how he was doing, and I was travelling from Nottingham to New Mills quite regularly to keep an eye on him, see how he.
District, isn't it? So.
Yeah, in the Peak District. Or you'd come down on the bus, wouldn't you? Mm-hmm. And I got one story. I got a phone call, "Come and collect me." "Well, where are you?" I don't know, I've been thrown off the bus. So I had to follow the Transpennine route, looking for Daryl along the way. So I found him in Dovel's.
I'd actually
Done about 5 miles.
5 miles and got through a litre of vodka.
I was going to ask if it was the booze that caused the problem with your family, but it sort of wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It was not being honest with myself that's caused the problem in the first place.
Yeah. I don't think that's ever going to feel good for anybody. It's
No.
like living a lie, isn't it, really?
But yes, it caused a marriage breakdown, but things happen for a reason.
They do. And that's a good way to look at it. So the worst consequences of that were, well, you lost your job, you lost your home, but your relationship with your children as well.
That went completely.
Yeah.
I saw my eldest on and off for a little while, not for long, because it sounds horrible to badmouth her, but she was poisoning all 3 kids. But the twin, because I got twins, they carried on seeing me for a while.
Right.
But then when I got together with Keith properly, things changed, and she told the kids that gay people fiddled with kids. And they were only 5, 6 at the time. And for some reason, even though they're in their late 20s now, they don't seem to be able to get over it. So because I speak to my eldest, I see him often.
Yeah.
And we used to send them Christmas presents and birthday presents. He said, Dad, just stop, because he just goes straight in the bin. So I lost a relationship with 2 of the kids completely, and they've got their own children now.
So how do you feel about that now?
That was one thing that used to tip me over again.
Right.
Quite often.
Yeah.
Anger at her.
Yeah.
Not at them, because it wasn't their fault.
No, children.
Disappointment in them that they've grown up and still can't accept, whether it's how I was with the drinking or because we're together.
Yeah.
But now it doesn't bother me at all.
You've come to terms with it.
So
it must have been deeply hurtful.
It was for a long time, yeah. So I mean, my eldest got married in March, and he rang me quite upset. He said, Dad, I can't invite you to the wedding because the other 2 will kick off, and Mum will kick off because they're worried you'll have a drink.
Oh, right. What, even after all these years of sobriety?
Yeah. But I mean, it's his day.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to kick off about that.
No.
And that was a day that was a bit awkward, but it didn't make me think I want a drink.
No.
So
Yeah, I know, because you've mentioned anger a few times, so that was a trigger for you as well, was it?
It could have been. The wedding could have been, but it wasn't, because it's not worth it.
No.
I've got more positives in my life than negatives.
Exactly. What has been your lowest point then?
10 litres of vodka in a week in 7 days.
10 litres?
10 litres. And still not thinking about stopping.
It's wonder you're still here to tell the tale after that.
Yeah, well, that's part of the problem. Well, not that I'm still here.
No,
I don't know. You might think sometimes. He calls me his current husband. That's another story. Yes, that was the lowest point, and still not wanting to stop, and still being given permission to carry on.
Right.
Which is because I was in a really, really bad way. I mean, I was in pain. I can't even remember it properly. I was in pain. Everything was hurting.
Right.
And I was just craving going for that next bottle.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm taking you to hospital. So he took me to hospital. You took me to hospital, didn't you?
You've been...
Well, I've been a few times to hospital, but that point was they gave me permission to carry on because they did all the tests and they said my liver was fine. And to me, that was, I'm all right, then I can carry on because they've said it's all right.
That's unbelievable. So, and they knew exactly how much you'd been drinking.
Yeah, but they did want me to go, well, I know you talked about AA and stuff like that, and I went once and thought, this isn't for me. I couldn't do counselling. I did a lot of counselling training when I was in social services, and I know exactly what to say just to shut them up.
Right.
So I kept saying, it's no use sending me for counselling, because I'll just say what they want to hear.
Yeah.
But then they talked me into going to the Priory, didn't they? Just as a day visit type thing. Again, I don't remember a lot about that, but...
Well, that didn't work either, because they wanted you to have a breath test going in, and before they'd even get you through the door, and that wasn't going to happen.
Because I won't I don't do as I'm told.
So
I'm like, no one can tell me what to do because I will not do it because I'm a stubborn bugger.
Yeah. I can relate to that.
They referred you to a psychologist, and he said that the only time you will give up is when you want.
Well, exactly.
Nothing else will happen, And he says all the advice and the counselling and things like that, it'll not work until you want to give up.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
And that's what happened. I woke up one morning feeling really rough. And I sat up in bed and just said, I'm not going to do this anymore.
Okay.
And I stopped. And then I got bollocked by the GP.
Because you're not supposed to stop, are you?
He said, it's so dangerous. Go and buy yourself a drink. And I was like, no way.
But you were okay, were you? Or did you have any kind of ill effect?
No, I didn't have any ill effects, did I? At all. I was fine. So then probably went a couple of years and thought, oh, this is fine now. And I said to Keith, I just really fancy a Guinness and I'll be fine now. I know I'll be fine. So we went to the pub and I had half a Guinness and I didn't stop.
Right.
Again.
I think it's easy to delude yourself, isn't it?
So that was the real point. That there's been nothing since. And it took a long time to be able to go into a pub. I mean, I was never a pub drinker anyway. It was always at home. But then it did get to the point where I could go into a pub. And now we're at a point where we can go into a pub and we'll buy alcohol-free Guinness or Guinness Zero. And we have Guinness Zero ciders at home and stuff. I can quite enjoy it. So.
And it doesn't ever make you think, oh, I could do a proper drink?
No. And we've got stuff now, haven't we, that's been in the house for 3-4 years. And I will cook with it. I'll cook with wine.
Okay.
And I'll cook with beer. I'll never think, I'll just have a swig. And
no.
Doesn't even cross my mind.
That's good. It's good that you've got to that point. So obviously you met Keith while he was... You met Daryl while he was actively drinking.
I've known Daryl for a while.
Yeah.
He used to go up to the meet in the Lake District. As part of a bigger group, we always used to go up at bank holidays, and we just sort of knew each other then and met each other then, and we just kept in touch, really, didn't we? Sort of Christmas cards and things. And it was only later on when he had his problems, and I'd split up with my wife as well.
Okay.
So I could understand where he was coming from.
Right, okay.
And so, you end up coming down to Nottingham in the end, didn't you? It was easier to... It was cheaper. It was cheaper than travelling up to New Mills all the time. Every time I got a phone call, SOS phone call.
So how did Daryl's drinking affect you? Did it ever put a strain on the relationship?
Our relationship?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Did you ever feel like, I can't do this anymore?
Not, I can't do this. It was very sometimes, what am I doing?
Right.
Why? But then, I don't know. It's hard to explain. But yes, it was hard. It was.
I'll butt in here.
Okay.
I'm moving closer.
Okay.
I tried my damnedest to push him away.
Okay.
Every time I had a drink, I would say and do anything to make him think, just give up on me. So I thought, why should anyone else worry or care? So I did everything to push you away, didn't I?
You did.
I think if we've got a lot of guilt and then a lack of self-love because of that as well, then we do push people away because we don't think we deserve that love and care from somebody.
Yeah. I'll let you carry on.
Yeah, stop putting in.
But so there was never a point where I thought, well, there were times where I was thinking, what am I doing? Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
But I liked Daryl from a long time ago. We had a bit of history of friendship, and it was worth it.
Yeah. Well, you're lucky to have each other, to have that support. You're lucky that he was around.
It was a two-way. When he was sober, it was a two-way thing because I was on my own and I wasn't seeing my kids as much.
Okay.
And so it was a two-way thing. But it was only when Daryl was escaping that I was left on my own a bit.
Right. So have you been a drinker? Has it ever been an issue for you at all?
It's never been an issue. I used to drink. I used to drink a lot as a student and things like that. But no, I've never really gone to... I wouldn't call myself an alcoholic.
No,
and that's that sort of step further. But I don't drink now either. So it started out as a support because it was an alcohol-free house.
Yes.
But I don't bother anymore either.
So what was the low point for you? Out of everything that happened, is there any one incident that sticks in your mind as being like the lowest point?
Not the lowest, but every time Daryl said, because I'd tried my damnedest to get him over it and get him out of drinking, but every time he said, "I'm escaping," those words would really floor me.
Would they?
Because I knew it'd be a week, a fortnight, 3 weeks, whatever.
Losing him for that.
Yeah.
I can see you're getting emotional. It's hard for you. Yeah. So, he lost you for that time. And you didn't know when he was coming back, I suppose. No. Yeah.
And you could go to work, couldn't you? And not know what you were coming back to.
So a lot of uncertainty and unpredictability. Yeah. Which is hard for most of us, I think, to cope with. Did you ever get support for yourself? Because I think there's Al-Anon, isn't there? Isn't Al-Anon...
Al-Anon's the one for families, isn't it?
That's right. Anybody affected? No. So you were kind of carrying it all on your shoulders, really?
And my parents were...
Your parents were brilliant.
They weren't local, so so we had to travel, but they were very supportive throughout.
No, that's good.
Supported Daryl throughout as well.
Yeah.
Even down to...
Your dad appeared in court for me, didn't he?
Yeah. Later down the line, my dad supported Daryl getting his driving licence back in court. One other funny story, though, we went down to my sister's and we went out for a walk, and Daryl said, "Oh no, I'm going to stay here," and attacked my brother-in-law's wine cellar. Absolutely smashed, and then he outed us to the family. But I don't think it was a surprise. I think he did that as trying to shock, and it didn't work. And I think that might have. Well, that's not worked because the family just said so.
And that's almost, it could be like another
trying to push away
as well, isn't it? Yeah. But it didn't work because they were like,
It was like, well, why should they care?
Yeah. Well, I think, is there anything else you want to add about your experience?
It's been a long road, a bumpy road to start with, but we're through it.
Yeah.
And
that takes tenacity and commitment.
I would say, without Keith, I wouldn't be here today. And I will say that to my dying day.
Yeah. Oh, bless you. Okay, so I just want to ask you about recovery. Can you just swap seats again? It's like musical chairs. So, recovery. How did you get sober? You said you just, one day you woke up and said, "I've had enough."
Yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. Okay. And as I say, there was that one glitch where I said, "Oh, I'm fine, I'll just have half Guinness, I'll be fine." Yeah. But then after that, it was like, well, that didn't work, did it? So I'm not doing this ever again.
Okay. So. And did you get any support from like groups or anything?
Oh God, no! I couldn't do that because in my head that's being told what to do.
I mean, AA is obviously a classic example, and that don't work for everybody.
I mean, we live a Christian life without church or anything. We always like to think we live a Christian good life where we treat people how we want to be treated.
Yeah.
But to me, AA's quite religious in its own way.
Well, I mean, it certainly started off that way, didn't it? I think when I've been to meetings in more recent years, they talk about a God of your choice or something like that, rather than trying to ram religion down your throat. Because these days, most people are not interested.
It's like I said about counselling or groups or the priory or whatever. It was all, they're just trying to tell me what to do, and I'm not having it. I'll do what I want.
So you've only fell off the wagon once then? In those 10 years or more? Yeah, so that's pretty good.
And it was a very fast getting back on the wagon, wasn't it? It was a case of, oh, that didn't work, and it was probably 3 or 4 days.
Right.
And then realising you can't do this again.
No.
And you don't want to do this again because you've got to come so far.
Yeah. So keeping sober is not an issue for you?
No.
I mean, you've already said that you have the non-alcoholic drinks and things.
And that's been the last 2 or 3 years, hasn't it? And
as they become more popular and available.
Yeah.
Yes, and they're getting better, aren't they?
And it's I don't frown upon people who drink anymore. I look at people and feel sorry for them.
Yeah.
I mean, a case in point was that we were at a gig in Manchester on Wednesday, and we were queuing outside because we were a couple of hours early, and there was a queue forming, and they were passing a bottle of whiskey and a bottle of rum around and having shots. And they got louder and louder, and then started mouthing off at us because they said we'd pushed into the queue.
Oh, God.
And I'm thinking, you wouldn't even say that if you were sober.
Oh, it changes people,
Yeah, it
doesn't it?
does.
It just changes personality. Yeah.
Daryl has quite an obsessive personality.
Okay.
Almost OCD,
Right.
compulsive.
Yep.
And I think that's partly why the alcohol took hold. It was compulsive and that sort of thing. And since then, Daryl's lost a lot of weight. And again, when he gets things focused in his mind and it concentrates and does everything, and he lost, what do you lose, 10 stone or so? 12 stone?
That's incredible, isn't it? That's
So,
another
but
human being.
Yeah, it was. And we got pictures,
Holding the trousers.
I was in the trousers
Yeah.
out here. But yeah, I think that his personality actually fitted drinking.
Okay.
And then it just snowballs and
Yeah.
takes over.
I think we'd got to how you keep sober, and
I just do.
that's it. Simple. It just
Plain
comes.
as-
It just
I just
doesn't.
do. I do. I don't know.
Well, you don't think about it.
No, I don't.
Even having the non-alcoholic drinks doesn't make you think about drinking.
Well, I'm going to turn this on you now
Okay.
because we've had a break from filming while
Wow.
the camera cooled down, and we've given you an alcohol-free beer.
That's right.
How's that made you feel?
Bloated. Oh, that could be all the food, actually.
Well, yeah, probably. But it's not made you feel
Like I want a drink.
like you want a drink or anything.
No, because there's no alcohol, and it's the alcohol that triggers the
Yeah, I
need
know,
for another
but
drink.
the
Yeah.
taste as well.
No, the taste is not. No.
No. How do I keep sober? It's not in my head. I would have said a few years ago, maybe I avoided stressful situations, but I don't think
Right.
I don't think it's that anymore.
It's hard in life to avoid stressful situations, isn't it?
Yeah,
'Cause
it's
you
hard.
never know what's going to come
No,
up.
you don't know. And I look at people now who are drunk in different situations, and I just think, I hope you get over this.
Right, yeah.
So I don't know, but I don't know.
So that in a sense is it helping to keep you sober?
Yeah, I mean, I've often said, and we've often said, that I need to do voluntary work or something like that with people who've got problems.
Okay.
And at one point, I really avoided thinking about that because I thought, oh no, that might drag me down.
Yeah. Have you gained any insights in your sobriety about your drinking?
I think it took me a long time to realise why I was drinking, and it was just not being my true self.
Okay.
And then I kept, even though when I became my true self, who I wasn't accepting it, and I wasn't accepting the fact that I caused so much damage to people.
Okay.
And that was a reason to drink, because I thought, well, I've done all the damage now. So yeah.
Was it like a way to punish yourself?
Yeah, it was punishment, yeah. Which is, I don't know whether we got it on camera about me pushing Keith away. I used to push him away all the time.
Yeah. Well,
Not physically, but mentally and verbally.
yeah. I think we might have.
Yeah, so it was just, learning to accept that, I'm not going to say failings, because not failings, because it's part of
Being a human.
being who you are.
Yeah.
Not accepting me for me. I think that's the most important thing. If people who struggle with drink accept them for who they are, that's a main turning point, I think, for a lot of people. Accept who you are.
Yeah.
And don't blame yourself for having a problem. Accept you've got a problem, and accept that if you really want to, when you want to, you can come out the other side.
So the support of somebody who accepts you
Yeah.
for who you are, which helps you accept yourself.
I think the first person who's got to accept what you are and who you are
Is yourself.
And everyone else comes. It sounds cruel and it sounds nasty, but everyone else comes second to that. You got to accept yourself first.
Some might say, "Oh, that's selfish," but it's not.
It's not, because you've got to do it for you.
You've got to, absolutely.
Yeah, it's got to be for you first.
Yeah. Self-love.
Yeah.
Self-acceptance. Absolutely. I guess your life now, as it is now, is helping to keep you sober in comparison to how it was, because you can look at your life now and think, I'm happy now, things are good. So that in itself is enough to keep you sober.
I mean, no one in this world starts drinking excessively without a reason. They just don't. And this is what I really want people to understand who don't understand, is that people don't just think, I'm going to get peed up every day of my life because I want to.
No.
There's always a reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
And until a lot of people who don't understand can understand that or walk in your shoes, they're not going to get it. And this is what I don't like about people who frown on alcoholics.
Right.
And in the past, even when I was drinking, I would frown at that alcoholic, because to me an alcoholic was someone on the streets.
That's it. We've got this stereotypical idea, haven't we? It's usually a homeless person on a park bench or whatever.
And I think you said about being a functioning alcoholic.
Yes.
Everyone's a functioning alcoholic for a while.
Yeah.
Until they're not.
Yeah. So life is definitely better now.
Oh, yes.
How much better? This much.
Keith will tell me off for saying 500% because he says there's no such thing as 500%. 500% better.
Yeah.
If not more. Everything happens for a reason.
Yes. So what is the reason for you then?
To get where I am. To be me.
Yeah.
And to be happy.
So it's worked. It's the happy ending, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and everyone can have that happy. That sounds like a porn video. Everyone can have a happy ending. Everyone can have a happy ending.
If they put the time and the effort and the discipline.
Yeah, but I'm not going to preach that.
No,
I don't want to. I don't want people to say. I don't want to say put the time in, put the effort in, because that sounds preachy. And if someone said that to me, I'd go and pick a bottle up and have a drink.
Oh, really?
I don't think you're right there. Everybody can have a happy ending, but they need the support.
Yes.
To enable that ending to get to that ending.
Yeah.
But I would say to people, tell people you think you're drinking too much. Don't say it's a problem, because I think if you admit you've got a problem to yourself when you're not ready, it makes it harder. But it sounds horrible, but turn it into a joke with your friends or your family. Say, I've had too much to drink again. Or because I think turning it into a joke sometimes helps your mind to think, I'm not really joking, am I? It's a funny mentality. Maybe it's my mentality, I don't know. My message to people is you can come out the other side.
Yes.
And you can have a happy life.
Yes.
You might think never, because I thought never. And I thought never for years.
And I mean, you went pretty low down, didn't you? I mean,
oh, God, yeah.
Arrested and put in prison.
Yeah. Believe, even if you're at your lowest ebb, believe that one day, because people, I mean, this sounds terrible, but I mean, people who said one day everything will be fine, and I didn't believe it. But you have to believe it at some point.
Well, it's having hope, isn't it? And you can lose hope, I think.
Yeah.
But I still think you need to put effort in. It's not like, well, I want to stop drinking, and then it just happens.
No, I mean, I was pretty lucky, because I shouldn't have done it the way I did it, and I was lucky that I came through it without any damage.
Indeed.
I don't know how to end it, really, apart from saying to people there is light. It might be a very long tunnel, you can't see the end of it, but there is light.
Yeah.
I think I'm living proof of that. I think we're living proof of that.
Yeah.
He's put up with a lot. And as I say, he's the one who saved my life.
Yeah.
So
He obviously thinks you're worth it. That's nice.
more than I do, I suppose.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's self-esteem, isn't it? Is at a rock bottom.
It goes to rock bottom, and then it's building it up, and no matter how long it takes to build up, once you've built it up, actually,
Your self-worth.
I'm not that bad. And I suppose, in a way, YouTube's helped that, because I watch our videos. This sounds really terrible. I watch our videos now and I think, actually, they're not bad. They're decent. They look quite good fun, them two. That sounds terrible.
No, it doesn't. But don't we live in that culture where we're not allowed to say anything good about ourselves because we're seen as arrogant or big-headed or whatever? So, but if you're happy with it, that's good. But yeah, self-esteem, that's really important, isn't it?
Yeah.
And putting down the drink is the first step, which is what they say in age. It's
putting
admitting
it
you've
down.
got a problem and putting it down, but then the work starts.
And it's testing yourself. I mean, to some people it might be putting the drink down but still having it there.
Right.
And then it might be not having a drink but still having the bottle, but that's over there.
Okay.
And it's like stepping away from it, or the bottle stepping away from you.
Oh, that sounds a bit like torture to me.
Well, it will to a lot of people, but for others it might work. It's
like-
finding what works for you.
Absolutely is, yeah.
So, and like I said, AA or anything like that won't work for me, but for others it does.
Yeah.
And it's
Well, yeah.
been going for so long, it does work.
Yes.
Yeah. But I also like reading stories and hearing songs from people who've had problems
Okay.
as well. I mean, Robbie Williams sings about his problems and things like that. And Sober, Lucy Spraggan, her song about staying sober. It's a song by Lucy Spraggan called Sober, so just have a look at it on YouTube.
Okay.
She's just redone it with Robbie Williams.
I also think that songs that you listen to, you think, oh, they've had problems.
Yeah.
When I wasn't alone, or we're not alone
Yeah.
in this.
I think that's really important.
This journey.
Yeah.
Don't say journey. We hate journey.
I don't mind journeys.
I hate journey. It's a journey.
I think that's why people like, one of the reasons people like AA, because of that sense of
It's a sense of belonging to a group. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you sit in the group and there's people from all walks of life. They've all got very different stories, but the thing you have in common is how people feel often. The feelings are the same.
And I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of AA, but from what I've seen on films and telly, you have a sponsor.
Yes, that's right.
So, I mean, I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but perhaps...
Yeah, Keith was my sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody that supports you through...
You've not got a trumpet. You've got every other instrument. You've got a trumpet.
It's on the list.
Yeah, but yeah, you were. Yeah. But again, you helped by... You realised that you weren't going to stop me.
No.
You were just there for me. You weren't ever going to stop me.
No. Didn't try.
You did it first.
I did it first.
But then you realised that
It wasn't going to work.
it wasn't going to work, yeah.
Wow.
He's put up with a lot. Bless him.
He has, hasn't
He
he?
has, yeah.
Right, well, I think that will do.
That wasn't too painful, was it? You did all right there.
No, it's good. Thank you so much.
thank
both of
you.
And I have mentioned your channel, but I mention it again, Campervan Tales on YouTube. If
Yeah.
you like van
Pair of
life.
gay old idiots running around the country discovering a bit of history.
That's it, yeah, that sort of thing, yes. If you like that sort of thing, check them out.